Hi, this is Nick with Living the Guild Life, and today I wanted to talk with you about inclusion and diversity within the gaming world. And came across several articles recently that really speak to this subject and really kind of gave me the motivation to go ahead and make this video today. This was just one of them. This is from Alex Meehan, writing for Dicebreaker.com back in November of 2020. The title is D&D 5e Lead Designer says improvements to racial depictions will take several years to fully implement. And again, it looks like it's an article that includes an interview with Jeremy Crawford, who's the lead rules designer for D&D 5e. And I love this article. I think it's fantastic. I think that the lead or the title is really the bottom last sentence after all of the explanations of what the intentions are, rather than starting out by saying it's going to take a long time. And the article really ended up with that final conclusion. The first thing that what really popped out at me was this line from Jeremy Crawford that says, one of the motivations was, let's decouple your choice of class from your choice of race. Our other motivation was that by doing this, D&D would stop leaning into a theme the game has had since the 70s of particular species having these innate advantages that really do not speak to the narratives that people want to tell about their own characters. And it's also uncomfortably like some of the racial narratives in the real world. So again, that's something that even though the original designers of D&D never intended it to be interpreted that way, it certainly can be said in today's environment, in today's society, that every opportunity a corporation or a game designer or a novelist or a story writer can take to try to lessen the similarities between things that they are writing in fiction and things that are happening in the real world to an actual group of people. Every opportunity that you can take, you really should take. Not just from a business sense, but just from a moral sense. And I love the fact that the 5e team is really leaning into this narrative, which is really being driven by the community and their feedback and saying, you know, we really don't believe that orcs and drow should always be this way. And why should everybody always be hating everybody? It seems like it's perpetuating this duality of it's fantasy, but it's a reflection of real life. And so I love the steps that they're taking to try to make that possible. Tasha's, the latest book, Tasha's, that just came out, in fact, was the first digital purchase that I have made. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything was the first purchase I made in D&D Beyond, because I really thought it was important that my characters and my players in my game get exposure to this type of rule-breaking, groundbreaking rule-breaking, to actually allow people to feel less constrained and constricted in the creation of their characters. And it really feels to me like there is a tipping point, a pivot point in the gaming community that allows for heroes in wheelchairs and cross heredity and cross, what's the word I'm looking for? Your culture and your heritage. That's the word I'm looking for, is heritage, and cross heritage between different species and different races and different backgrounds, which is more reflective of how things really are on this planet, because you can have all different nationalities in your background and it's still you, and it's still your driving force of who you grow up to be as a person, that's determined by the things that make up who you are, as well as things that you are exposed to after you come into this world. So I love this article. I think it's fantastic. I'm going to put some extra links to articles down below. I can tell you that when I was first starting out with D&D in the late 70s and early 80s, it was a direct result of not having a safe space to feel like I wasn't being made fun of or picked on. I was a new kid in a brand new school. My parents had just gotten divorced and remarried. I had braces, glasses, and a bad haircut, and so I was not a jock. I was not a cool kid. I was not. D&D was my safe place, and allowing more people who feel the desire, especially in today's situations that are going on right now, where people are more isolated from each other than ever, and more driven to despise or dislike or distrust each other than ever, having a safe place to go where all of that stays at the door and just what is left inside is what you want it to be, is very important to me. It's actually central to my involvement in this community and central to why I am working so hard to make this a part of my kids' life as well. So again, there's some links below to some additional articles about racial inclusion and diversity within the gaming system. I hope you guys enjoyed this video about this article. I leave the link for the article as well so you can read the whole thing, and it's on to the next adventure. This is Nick with Living the Guild Life. Hi, this is Nick with Living the Guild Life. If you want to help us out, hit the little like and subscribe below as well as the little bell. That way when we push out content, you get a notification and don't miss anything. On to the next adventure.